Hi, I'm Nick Ross for iTWire. I'm at HP's Partner and Customer Conference in Tokyo, Japan. We're talking with HP, and who are you and what is your role?
So my name is Stacy Wolff. I'm Senior Vice President of Design and Sustainability for the Personal Systems Group at HP.
And can you explain what you do
Sure.
in that role?
So the first part of it is design. So that is everything from the classic industrial design to a lot of user experience associated to the products. We have various components like color, materials, and finish. Certainly some advanced engineering within that group. And then complemented to that is the sustainability, which is a new addition to the design group that allows us to really start to look at in an impactful way the materials we choose and certainly how we approach sustainability for the company.
So we'll come to sustainability in a moment, but what trends are informing HP's design decisions this year
Hmm.
as a whole?
Yeah, sure. There's many trends, right? You can talk about it from a solely design perspective, and you're going to have many influences from the lifestyles we have to the things we buy, right? Those are always going to kind of influence what we do. I would say that there's probably a bigger trend going on, and that is as we start to look at a new wave of technology. This is where artificial intelligence is now coming into the picture. I think it's going to have a very impactful level to the company and to our products. With AI, I think we're going to see a lot more, if you will, revolutionary uses, as well as even new form factors.
Okay. And how is like there's a lot of talk about hybrid work
Hmm.
in the world and how it's changed, more importantly, post-COVID. So, how's HP defining hybrid work
Sure,
now?
sure. I don't think we see hybrid as a place. I think a lot of people thought hybrid was I'm working from home versus working in the office. We see hybrid is more of a continuum. So it's work anywhere, it's play anywhere, it's game anywhere. So when we talk about hybrid, it's not solely my work life, it's my I'll call it my personal life. Whether I'm doing home projects or I'm connecting with friends through gaming, hybrid is changed dramatically, and that goes with the form factors we're creating and the interconnectivity that we have with some of our companies like Poly, as well as HyperX. Both of those are enablers to what we would consider hybrid life.
And going back to sustainability, how is that affecting HP's design decisions now?
It's on multiple levels. One is we certainly have a passion for doing the right thing, being responsible for materials that we use. But sustainability is much more than that. It's certainly a government component now, a regulation. So as we think about Europe, specifically France, you're seeing more and more regulations on the materials you employ, the energy that it consumes. How are we being responsible both in the creation as well as the take back of programs? So sustainability is to some degree a whole new work stream for the company and well as the industry. And I would say, we started with materials and now it's much more than just a material story.
We heard in yesterday's keynotes about how a few wins a few years ago came in products that used a small amount of recycled materials,
Mhm.
but now blasted past that. Could you give us some examples and some numbers of
Sure.
how many more recycled materials are used in products now?
Sure. So for us, I would say about 4 years ago, we launched a program called Dragonfly, Elite
Mhm.
Dragonfly. It was a 360 notebook that was really first of its kind because we introduced ocean-bound plastics on that platform. And it was a very, very small percentage, 4 or 5%, and it was just on a few pieces of plastic on the inside. Since then, what we have achieved is most of our programs, I think we're pretty close to 100% across the line. I know in our premium lines, we're 100% as far as using recycled plastics or metals and things of that nature. So it's a massive transformation in just a few years. The biggest thing about that change is we changed an industry. So if you think about 4 years ago, getting ocean-bound plastics into our base resins, it was a monumental task. Now it's to some degree the flavor of the day by most in the resin industry. You can pick your percentage, you can pick the mixture of how you want to do that. It's like anything. At the beginning, there's always a big climb, but once you get there, then it becomes automatic.
You mentioned the Firefly. What other products will we be seeing from HP that are full of recycled materials and particularly sustainable?
Sure. There's a few things that we've done recently where we've tried to amplify sustainability to get it a little bit more in the minds of our customers. So we have the HP All-in-One, which we have stated is the most sustainable all-in-one really in the market, and it's the percentages of materials. It's thinking through the combination of those materials along with the packaging, the logistics, really affecting not just the materials employed, but the total carbon footprint. We've also looked and added to our notebook line. So there's the HP 14 Eco Edition, which is a new addition to the family, where we try to really amplify some of the materials in a very entry price point. So one of the things that we started at the beginning, we didn't want sustainability to be an expense. It should be more about the mission and the passion that we have to do the right thing and be responsible. So we wanted to make sure sustainability should be affordable. It shouldn't be just to an elite line of product. It should be on everything. So we have taken a kind of a mission to make sure that we're able to do it even at the from the lowest end to the highest end product we produce.
And what's the future for HP's sustainability in products? What are we going to see down the line?
I think you'll continue to see us advance new materials. Like we have added waste oil as a component. There's kind of two levels of materials. There's materials that have a volume aspect to it. That's post-consumer recycled material, PCR. We have a large volume of that. Recycled aluminum, we have a large volume of that, but we're now adding some new materials that are kind of a little bit more emotional connection to it. The waste oil, which in some countries is just inadvertently dumped into waterways and landfills, we've taken that waste oil and we bring it back in and we turn it into resin, and then we use that or employ that in some of the new products. We're really kind of pushing the boundaries and advancing the materials. But beyond the materials, it's also how you think about the life of the product. So if you really want to affect the carbon footprint, we need to think about the life cycle. And you want to have a first life, maybe a second life. We want to make sure that we're able to, if you will, revitalize the product. So much like the car industry, where you buy a car and then you may resell that car, the PC industry is moving that way.
Yeah, and we kind of touched on this yesterday briefly, but what would stop, say, laptops being someone designing a really classic one, maybe using a famous designer,
Mhm,
and create, say, not a Porsche 911 style chassis
mhm,
that can then be upgraded forever?
mhm.
And maybe someone will keep it looking as shiny as new through servicing or restoring it, or maybe they'll be classic and collectible like sneakers have become, or
Mhm.
maybe they could like erode into a nice patina where someone looks like they've got a 20-year-old laptop that's
Yeah.
still working because all the upgraded the insides have been upgraded.
Mhm.
What's stopping that happening, and could HP do it, and would you expect anyone on the market to do that in the industry?
Well, we're certainly looking at it. It's a mindset shift. Technology has always been about new. Now you have to think about technology and the envelope in which the technology resides. They may become, kind of separated. And so now I may rev my technology, but keep the chassis the same. It's to your car analogy where I can keep tweaking the engine, but the actual car that you see and sit in remains the same. I think there is a growing interest of that. We've been experimenting with that. I think it's still unknown. Again, electronics has always
Mhm.
been new. So what we do believe is that upgradability is probably the start of that. So in our new Elite book line, we've made a lot of advances so that as an end user, in many of the corporations that we might sell to, you can change out the memory, you can change out the battery. That is the foundational piece, just like a car. If I can replace the parts and still keep it running, then I've accomplished my goal. So as we start to think about will we achieve a forever PC, I don't know, but it's certainly a North Star for us.
Well, I guess we've done that with PC desktops, haven't we? Some people upgrade those
Desktops are
forever.
very much like that.
So
Certainly, the gaming
yeah,
industry, as we think about kind of overhauling your gaming rig and the new graphics,
mhm.
it's same chassis but more performance.
Okay. All right. Well, we'll watch this space on that one. Is there anything else you'd like to add? Well, we've got all of Australia's tech audience watching.
Sure. I think one of the things that you should look at HP is certainly our focus on where the technology curve is going. We're very focused on where AI will impact the products we make and make our lives, we feel, much better. When you look at HP as a whole, it's no longer a singular thing, right? In the past, we've had, I think, a mindset that we're a printer company or maybe a PC company. We're really a computing company, and we work at multiple levels. We've brought in new companies to be part of the team. And what it's allowed us to do is kind of bridge into new areas. As we brought on Poly, that's been a huge enabler to a better connected experience. As we bring on HyperX, it's a whole new audience for us. As you look at Gen Z, Gen Alpha, we now have a conduit, if you will, to that audience through HyperX. And then, of course, we continue to revolutionize our PCs.
Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you.